Good morning, people. Darryl Riley here once again, feeling blessed, not stressed. Um, since the last time I made the video, I was going through some things, and I can say over the last few days, I've experienced the freedom that I've never felt in my whole life. Considering all the things that I went through and the issues that it caused, after looking at it, it was all for a bigger purpose. It was all for a greater purpose. All those years of hiding the fact of the things that happened to me and and just going along in life, it was all for a purpose. I look at it now. The other day, the pain that I felt the other day was pain of why did I have to go through this? Why did that man do this to me? And why do am I unable to tell anybody about it? And that was the pain in my video the other day. But as I was telling you in the video, the truth of the spirit and the word and everything that I was taught while I was a child, it never had left me. And now that I've lifted that weight, that bondage off of my shoulders, it's kind of like, I know that I didn't enjoy going through it. I know that it was wrong for that person to do that to me, even though I was a child, he was an adult. All the worldly things that we say about people that's been sexually molested or people that are molesters, you hear all those things and all the stereotypes and stuff that come with it. And that's a main part of the reason why I didn't want to say anything was how people going to look at me. What are they going to say about me? Does it matter? Who really cares? Because the bottom line is I believe and I trust in God. And I know that the stuff that we do wrong, and I believe and know with all my heart that it's a fact of sin. Whatever that man was going through, it still was sin. As I grew, I robbed someone. I was sinning. That ain't had nothing to do with what he did to me. That was something I knew I should not have done. So I can't say that me robbing someone was a direct result of what that man did to me. I'd be lying. But I can say that the sin that was in him was placed upon me, and it held me down for a long time. It kept me from being open and honest about my past to where maybe I could have worked my way through it. But after talking and just being, like I said, working out over the last few years, I've never, ever in my life felt as free as I feel right now today. I called this person that did this to me, and I talked to him, and it's weird how the Spirit of God is so real and so true that I can remember saying things like, if I ever see this man again in my life, I would kill him. I said all kind of things because of the hurt and the embarrassment and the pain that I was feeling because of what he had done to me. But after talking to him, the truth, the spirit kicked in, and he asked for my forgiveness, and I let him know that I forgave him. But in talking with him, some of the things that he was saying and some of the responses that he was giving me, he's really not comfortable with this being known. And I asked him, this person, was there anybody else besides for me? He said there wasn't. So I told him, well then, if I'm the only one that you got to worry about, we can join hands. You being the molester, me being the one molested, and show people that it's not what the world perceives it to be and what our minds think it is because of what we see on the news and on the radio and on the TV about sexual predators and sexual molesters and they can't change or this, that, and the other. I was 6 years old when that happened to me. And guess what? it turned me into a sexual molester. The, the first person that I messed with after I got that done to me was his little girl. So, regardless if I was 6 years old when it happened or not, I still made that little girl do something that she did not know about, didn't want to do, but because of what had happened to me, I placed that same kind of burden upon that little girl, his very own daughter. I wonder where she's at today. I'm pretty sure she remembers that moment because I remember the moment like it was yesterday because it's our innocence. Your innocence is gone at that point, and you start to think in ways that is not becoming of a 6-year-old child. Again, I see my little girl running around, and she's about to be 6 years old, and she runs and she's just free. She's free to bump her head, free to make mistakes, but she's free though. And I lost that freedom when that happened to me. So I wonder that when I lost that freedom, when I did that to her, his own daughter, did she lose the same freedom that I lost? I've never done it again. I'm not. I mean, I could care less about what people knew about what happened to me. I was afraid of what they might think I became because of it. But I mean, it's not what you think. When you're walking and you know and you're trusting in what you know is right, God does everything for a reason and for a certain purpose. So I guess it wasn't time for me to come out back then about it. Because today I can proudly say I know I'm not a homosexual, never was. Um, Today I can say I have 3 beautiful children and a wonderful wife that supported me through all this. And regardless of what people may say, she's always told me that she loves me and that she would never leave me. Considering everything that we've been through over the last 15 years, and those are the things that I was afraid of because I didn't want to lose what I had gained, and no one really knew the true me. I'm okay with that today, and now the pain in my heart is for the person that did it to me because I don't think he's really accepting it. I don't know if there's other people, if that's the reason he's not accepting it. But either way it go, God's word and truth are gonna be revealed, and he was used, may have been through sin or whatever, for a bigger purpose. And I understand that. And I guess that's why God orchestrated it in a way to where I didn't have too many emotional family connections here. So as I got older, those people that I grew up with, even though they were loving people and I have nothing bad to say about them, um, I seen them as I grew up, but again, they're not blood relatives. They're just some friends of my mother. So I, because of that detachment, no family attachment, I ran around the city kind of just wherever. I ran across some good people. I ran across some bad people. I ran across quite a few people through my experiences of being in a city where he has no real family except for maybe my 1 or 2 older brothers and my mother. No uncles, aunties, cousins, grandparents, none of that. So I kind of just befriended whoever. And through that sin that was in me that didn't allow me to speak and tell them one thing, I ran across a lot of people. And throughout the years, I've seen some of those people in some very terrible ways, but was scared to say anything about it because of my own hidden issues. I didn't want those issues to come out. I ain't worried about today. God did it for a reason. And those same people, I pray to God today that if when I see them, that God has blessed them and moved them on in their life. Because I know what a lot of these people that I dealt with, what they were doing, and I know it was wrong, and I know it was a lot of kids and people's lives that could have been affected by it or still being affected by it. And by me trusting and believing in God like I do and knowing the truth, I'm not looking to go and bring hurt or pain to nobody. Matter of fact, I'm not even going looking for these people that I mentioned before. But if I do run across them, or if I do see them, I will see if they're the same people that I knew back then. Because if they are, that means they're still hurting people today. And today, I'm proud to say that I'll walk and stand for God. And it don't matter if I'm protecting my child or your child or anyone's child. We are children of God, and there's a responsibility to God and being a child of God. If we know things that are going on within our communities, our families, or whatever, we have a responsibility to protect each other. I understand that what I went through is bigger than me. It's family bonds. It's family bondage. It's something deeper within his family or whatever that caused him to do what he did. It's something within my family that my mother didn't tell me about, watching out for people like that. There's people that I've ran across with the same kind of problems going on within their family that no one talks about because it's so embarrassing to them and their family that they sweep it under the rug and allow it to pass on through generations and generations and generations. And each generation says, "Oh, shh, don't tell nobody. Don't worry about it." And then I mean, what does that help? It only creates the problem. It only makes the problem worse because if you're hiding it, that means no help is being given, and you end up with a child like me that went through things like I did. But through God's glory and grace, and again, I say God orchestrates things in a way that when you're going through it, you don't know why you're going through it, but in the end, you know that was for a purpose. No family connections and all those things that normal circumstances that the world says as being a deciding factor in why we grow. I didn't have those normal circumstances. I didn't have a family to say I can base what I believe on as far as this or what I believe on as far as that. I had one main family member, that was my mother, and her main focus was telling me about God, honoring God, trusting God, walking with God, and letting God be the leader of your life. With that, God gave me strength to make it through all those things. With that, God is going to bless a lot of people. Was there some hurt and some pain that went through it? Yeah, and I got the greatest example in the world, Jesus Christ. Beaten, cussed out, spit on. Heck, he was without sin. I got a whole bunch of them. And the ones I was scared of ain't the worst of them. I mean, the ones I wasn't scared of, I freely shared. Like it was candy to give away to the kids or something. I mean, it's crazy how that works. I thank God today for using me to be a blessing to those that I came in contact with. Because I didn't believe that I was helping anyone, even though I was always teaching them about the word. As I'm speaking to you now, I got chills in my body because yesterday I went to church with a young man. Young man, actually he's an old buzzard. But anyways, that's neither here nor there. I went to church with this guy and I met him in prison about 5 or 6 years ago. And when I met him, he was like an older man, well versed in the word, and we used to be in there talking, and I used to go out after dinner time. I used to be standing in the middle of the jail cell. I used to do this thing what I call prayer call. It's just after dinner, stand out there, prayer call. I read the scripture and pray with whoever came out there. And I used to be hollering so loud, I stand out in the middle of the hallway, prayer Paul, prayer Paul. This guy came out one time. He said, "Man, why is you always out here hollering prayer call? Don't nobody be coming over there. You just down there hollering. I'm in here trying to sleep, man. Why don't you go to sleep? And so, I think about it now. I remember telling him, man, I don't know. I said, but if I don't come out here, how they gonna get a chance to come? And he just kind of looked at me like I was crazy and walked on back in the cell. That was kind of his first couple of days in the cell. After that, we became the greatest of friends. To this day, we're still friends. And even though I hear what he says, but I know better. When I came home, he talked to me and my wife. He said, I want to thank you for being there for me when I was in prison. Like, okay, whatever, you know what I mean? I didn't do anything for you that I wouldn't do for anybody else that I met. But he said, man, the reason. Well, he told me, he said, I'm getting ordained in about a month and a half. He said, the reason I'm getting ordained is because of you. I said, no, it ain't because of me. I said, I ain't did nothing but tell you what God told me. He said, but it's because of the way that you understood and presented to me that I was able to receive what I needed to receive to know what I needed to do. And to go to his church yesterday and to see him standing up there and him give acknowledgement to me for where he's at with his walk with God, it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. I told my children about it. I said, ain't that pretty cool? Your daddy is someone giving your daddy praise about how cool he was that they became a minister. That's a beautiful thing. I love my family. I love the people of this world. I pray we stop looking at the Bible and taking what the Bible has to offer us and let the Spirit talk and walk with us. But just like also said in the Bible, it's easier for a rich man, easier for a camel or whatever to go through a needle's eye than for a rich man to enter to the kingdom of heaven. I truly understand what that statement means now. You got a bunch of different religions teaching out of the same Bible, but we all got 100 different ways of doing things. But we all teaching from the same Bible. Wow. Doing life, no chance for parole. I think I can handle it. Be blessed, people. And I will holler at you in the next step in this journey, because I can keep on talking forever about the experiences that I had and coming to where I'm at today. So I'll be hearing, hopefully I'll be sharing with you more often. And be blessed, not stressed.